You have 47 tabs open. You've researched the job, compared the salaries, read the reviews, asked your friends, maybe even made a pros and cons list, and somehow you're still not making the decision. You tell yourself you're being careful. You're gathering information. You're trying to make the right choice. But here's the uncomfortable question. What if you're no longer looking for information? What if you're looking for certainty? Because those are two very different things. Think about the last important decision you couldn't make. Maybe it was leaving a job, taking a promotion, moving to another city, starting something you've wanted to do for years, ending a relationship, or simply saying something you've been avoiding. You research, you ask, you compare, you imagine what could happen, then you discover another possibility. So you research that. And eventually, the decision gets bigger while your confidence gets smaller. That's the strange thing about overthinking. It can feel like progress, even when you're standing still. And there's some fascinating science behind this. A 2026 study published in Nature Human Behavior looked at decision-making and information gathering in more than 5,200 people. The researchers found that people showing greater indecisiveness tended to gather more information before committing to a choice. But here's the interesting part. They weren't necessarily making better decisions. So, more information isn't automatically the solution. Sometimes, more information is simply more information, and your brain can keep asking for it long after you've learned enough to act. So, when does careful thinking become overthinking? Not when you've thought a lot, not when you've considered several possibilities, and not when you're worried about making a mistake. The line is much simpler. Is the next piece of information actually capable of changing your decision? If yes, keep looking. If no, you may not be solving the problem anymore. You may be postponing the discomfort of choosing. And here's where the story gets strange, because one of the oldest surviving stories about a person facing an impossible decision begins with almost the same psychological tension. Except his decision wasn't, which job should I take? It was, should I fight the people I love? His name was Arjuna, and the story comes from the Mahabharata, one of India's great Sanskrit epics. Bhagavad Gita is a section of that epic, and it begins precisely at the moment Arjuna's confidence collapses. But Arjuna's story begins at the worst possible moment to discover that you're uncertain. He's a warrior. Two armies are facing each other. The battle is about to begin, and Arjuna asks his charioteer, Krishna, to drive between the armies. He wants to see the people he's about to fight. Then he recognizes them, his teachers, his relatives, his friends, and suddenly, the decision isn't about winning a war. It's about whether victory is worth becoming the person who has to live with what it costs. Arjuna starts arguing. He gives reasons for not fighting. What happens to the families? What happens to society? What happens to the people who die? What kind of victory is worth this cost? These aren't stupid questions. They're serious questions. That's important. Because if we turn Arjuna into ancient guy who overthought everything, we completely miss the point. His problem isn't that he has too many thoughts. His problem is that several things he values are colliding at once. Now put yourself in his place. Imagine you're offered the promotion you've wanted for 5 years. More money, more authority, more recognition, but it also means longer hours, less time with your family, more responsibility, and possibly leaving behind a team that depends on you. Your brain starts producing scenarios. If I take it, this could happen, but if I don't, that could happen. What if I regret leaving? What if I regret staying? What if I fail? What if I succeed and hate it? Suddenly you're not making a decision. You're trying to simulate every possible future, and that's impossible. There's another piece of research that matters here. A 2025 pre-registered experiment with 301 participants found that when researchers increased people's intolerance of uncertainty, their indecisiveness increased as well. That's a powerful distinction. Maybe some people don't actually need more confidence. Maybe they need a greater ability to say, I don't know exactly what will happen, and I can still choose. Because uncertainty isn't a temporary glitch in life, it's part of the deal. This is the question that traps intelligent people. What choice guarantees I'll be okay? There isn't one. You can make the smartest career decision available and still have a bad boss. You can choose the right relationship and still get hurt. You can start the business and still fail. You can stay safe and still regret not taking the risk. The future doesn't sign contracts, so if your decision requires certainty about the future, you've made the decision impossible. And this is where Krishna's response becomes interesting. Not because Krishna gives Arjuna a magical prediction. He doesn't simply say, don't worry, everything will work out. Instead, the Gita spends its chapters changing how Arjuna thinks about action itself. Krishna challenges the basis on which Arjuna is trying to decide, and that shift is surprisingly relevant to modern decision-making. Arjuna is heavily focused on consequences. If I fight, people die, families suffer, society changes, I may regret it. The outcome becomes the center of his reasoning. Krishna gradually redirects him toward another question. What is your responsibility? This is where the concept of svadharma, one's situated duty or responsibility, becomes central to the Gita's argument. And here's the modern translation. Don't begin with, what guarantees the best outcome? Begin with, given what I know, what responsibility am I actually willing to act on? That's a question you can answer. And we need to be careful here. The Gita isn't giving us a generic corporate productivity hack. Arjuna is a warrior in an ancient social and religious world. His dharma cannot simply be translated into, do whatever your job description says. That's a distortion. The useful modern insight is the underlying structure. When competing values make every option imperfect, you need a principle for choosing. Otherwise, every possible consequence becomes another reason to delay. So instead of asking, which choice has the least risk, ask, which choice is most consistent with what I value and what I am responsible for? Those aren't the same question. Risk asks, what could go wrong? Responsibility asks, what am I willing to stand behind? And sometimes, you need both. Then comes the idea most people know. Act without being attached to the fruits of your action. It's often reduced to, don't care about the result. That's too simplistic. The Gita isn't saying outcomes don't matter. It's distinguishing between your action and your attachment to controlling its result. You can control your preparation. You cannot control whether the interviewer likes you. You can control whether you submit the proposal. You cannot control whether the client says yes. You can control whether you have the difficult conversation. You cannot control how the other person reacts. The result matters, but it isn't completely yours to command. So let's turn this ancient idea into something you can actually use. The next time you're stuck on a major decision, don't ask yourself, how do I know I'm making the right choice? Instead, write down 3 things. 1. What do I know? Separate facts from assumptions. 2. What do I control? Separate your actions from things other people control. 3. What am I responsible for? Not what everyone expects from you. What responsibility do you genuinely believe you should act on? Then ask, what is the next intelligent action? Not the next 10, just the next one. And add one more rule. Before you research anything else, ask, what information could actually change my decision? If you can name it, go find it. If you can't, stop researching. Because if no new evidence could change your choice, you're no longer gathering information. You're seeking reassurance. And reassurance has no finish line. This is why I think Arjuna's story is more useful than simply saying, stop overthinking. Arjuna doesn't become calm because someone tells him to think positively. He doesn't receive certainty about every consequence. He confronts the fact that some decisions remain painful even after you've thought about them carefully. The answer isn't eliminating doubt. It's deciding what principle will guide you when doubt remains. That's a much harder lesson, and a much more useful one. Because here's what overthinking sometimes gives us: a way to avoid responsibility while feeling productive. As long as you're researching, you haven't committed. As long as you're comparing, you haven't chosen. As long as you're asking everyone else, you don't have to own the decision. And that can feel wonderfully safe, until 6 months later when you realize that not choosing was a choice too. So, the next time you catch yourself opening the 12th article, asking the 4th person, or imagining the 37th possible future, pause. Ask, did I learn something that changes the decision? If yes, keep going. If not, you may already have enough information. Then ask, what do I control? What am I responsible for? What's the next intelligent action? You don't need certainty. You need a reason to move. 2,000 years ago, Arjuna stood between two armies trying to solve a problem that had no painless answer. Today, your battlefield might be a boardroom, a breakup, a career decision, a business idea, a conversation you've been avoiding. But the circumstances are completely different. The psychological problem isn't. You can spend your life trying to eliminate uncertainty, or you can learn to make better decisions while uncertainty is still there. Because intelligence can show you 100 possible futures, wisdom knows when you have enough information to choose one. This is Outsmarted. Ancient stories, modern psychology, human behavior decoded. If this video added value to your life, please like, share, and subscribe for more such life-changing content.